Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks, neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city, they shall run upon the wall, they shall climb up upon the houses, they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Therefore also now, saith the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart, and not your garments, and turn unto the Lord your God. For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil. Who knoweth if he will return and repent, and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto the Lord your God? Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children, and those that suck the breasts. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. Let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, Spare thy people, O Lord, and give not thine heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, Where is their God? Then will the Lord be jealous for his land, and pity his people. Yea, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, Behold, I will send you corn, and wine, and oil, and ye shall be satisfied therewith, and I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savour shall come up, because he hath done great things. Fear not, O land. Be glad and rejoice, for the Lord will do great things. Be not afraid, ye beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring, for the tree beareth her fruit, the fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. Be glad then, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God. For he hath given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the first month. And the floors shall be full of wheat, and the fats shall overflow with wine and oil. And I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm, and the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. And ye shall eat in plenty, and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, that hath dealt wondrously with you. And my people shall never be ashamed. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterward, that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. Chapter 9. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit, and he opened the bottomless pit. And there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions, and they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was the 3rd part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouths, and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see, nor hear, nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts.
If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? And by inference, nothing. It says, when the wicked rule, the righteous mourn. And I can tell you this land is in mourning, mourning.
No, I agree. Let me go back to something you said earlier. When the Russians or Chinese pull up in their troop carrier and they're going up and down your block, and they're looking for you, you're maintaining, and I've heard the same thing, that they have an assassination list, and they're not going to take guns. They're going to take lives. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just wanted to be clear on that point.
I want to be very clear on that point. I have been told that by 4-star generals and not retired ones in JSOC, Joint Special Operations. I have been told that by admirals. I've been told that by former contractors, former intelligence agencies, and my information verifies and just attenuates what yours is. And I want to share something, the blue list. Let me get to the blue list, because we know who's on the red list, but I've tried to inform policemen, which are being militarized. I've tried to inform U.S. military assets, and this is why they're being replaced if they don't, say they'll fire on American citizens and they don't swear allegiance to, the dictator-in-chief. The bottom line is that they're being outed, okay? They voluntarily, or they're basically, they either get you to quit or they quit you permanently. And this is a hard thing for Americans to understand. The blue list are the police, the military, and anyone who will cooperate, the bureaucrats, that will be allowed to live in the first 30 to 60 days when this thing breaks loose. After that, guess what? They get popped too, because the psychology of those who are going on their killing spree is that if they would betray their own people, anybody with more money can buy them off, so they die too. Now remember, the man that gave me that information and paid a price for it, he lost his life for it, okay?
Well, yeah, but Steve, that's just what's always gone on in history. That's called taking out the brown shirts, and that's what you're talking about.
And you've got the fifth-generation Nazis running everything, and that's a show in itself.
And let me say something about the Nazis. You're talking to the son of a man who left naval intelligence 6 months before retirement. They gave him full retirement to go to work for Martin Marietta, where he worked with, guess who, Nazi scientists in the late 50s and early 60s. So, I know all about the Nazi war machine. I know how we preserved it. I know how we brought it in. And I'm wondering what these people that write in think about who the hell Werner von Braun was.
Right. I got to tell you something, Dave. 100 of them work at NORAD. They're assigned Cyber Command, Cyber Terrorism. The entire assault on truth will be to undermine you, undermine me, undermine anybody that's trying to tell.
You look at the drones. I just saw a Department of Air Force release a video that talks about something called MAVs, which are 100,000 little mini microscopic drones, or they're made to look like birds, and they can be released from one drone. That's an army. And this is how serious they are about taking us out.
Because I say it, it's true. I say if you can't handle it, put it on the shelf. Now, here's a critical bit of information. The high-frequency radio net for all foreign troops, Dave, was tested a couple nights ago. They also jammed on their own frequency in the units in the field they were talking to. They have a special physical unit that filters that out so they can hear. In other words, they were jamming everybody else. We're talking about foreign troops, so they couldn't hear, but their men in the field were basically able to have the filters on to listen to the command. In other words, there are operations within operations going on in this country. Our current president has given the radios, radio codes, protocols, and all the info of the Russians, Red Chinese, all the info to the Russians, Red Chinese, Turks, Bulgarians, Ukrainians, Singaporeans, everybody who's here under NATO.
Yes.
Russia has a radio gear and the NATO codes as well. Now, according to the sources who were on the spot, Russians landed at Wright-Patterson, at the Air Force Base, and then were tracked, and they landed in helicopters into the former Voice of America grounds near the corner of Butler County and Warren County, Ohio. The Russian helicopters then left, but for the next 12 hours, a new pristine accented American in Kansas or Nebraska operator handled all military high-frequency comms instead of Andrews. I guess Andrews normally handles that. Voice of America in Ohio was and is one of the most powerful radio setups in the world, and has been clandestinely maintained perfectly. It also allows a complete takeover of all U.S. military communications and can shut off commercial signals as well. My sources say the Russian Spetsnaz actually had their operators run all U.S. milcoms allowed by our government and all of their Luciferian scum in the Pentagon and Intel. Books. This is about, I'm up against the clock. I know we're in a countdown period. I can't say the timing, but I will say this, Dave. Multiple high-ranking, well-placed, and people like, DHS, former FBI, former, because they quit and they're running for their lives. They know what's coming down. What I would say to the DHS, the FBI, and all those infusion centers, you guys are known too. And once you're used up, the operation within an operation, Spetsnaz is here to take you out also. And a friend of mine who lives in that world basically overheard a group of Russians, because he spoke Russian, speaking about how dumb were the Americans that were training with them, because once they're done cleaning up the American gun owners, they said then it's payback time for what the U.S. did to us. So do you understand what I'm saying? The operations where there is a joint plan to go into the American gun owners, it's going to turn badly against them. And everybody who's betrayed the nation, even the high-ranking guys that think they're safe with their, quote, pension plans, they're going to get tagged because they have groups of assassins, and that's what the radio transmissions were indicating. You've got
the world. But one of the things that I want to talk about that you've mentioned here is that when these troops go house to house, they're killing the gun owners. They're not just taking the guns. That seems to me the new block watch in America will be to watch out for the vehicles, and why wait for them to come to your house? I think you're going to see a time when entire neighborhoods are mobilized and just start automatically firing on any military vehicle coming into their area.
Well, that's why they bought 2,717 new APCs that are 50 caliber proof.
Well, exactly. Why they have 2.2 billion rounds of hollow point ammunition.
Yeah, 3.8 now.
Oh, 3.8.
Yeah. They've added 1.6 billion in the last couple weeks. Listen, let me share this too. It ain't only the Russians. Hawk went on his show on Thursday and Friday night, Survive to Thrive, and one of his friends in the signal intelligence world, SIGINT, overheard a Canadian general bragging about how much stuff was going to be pillaged and plundered. Here's the disconnect, okay? Everybody works hard, and they sit, in their easy chair listening to you and I or, HF or whatever on the computers, but they don't understand. It's not just to blow the gun owners away. It's to take everything. To the victors go the spoil. It's like the show The Vikings that's now on the History Channel. I mean, you raid, you take everything. And Pastor David Langford said a powerful statement, Dave. He said, God showed me that we were in bondage in America. Now we're going into captivity. I've tried to tell people, all you girls that are on Facebook, I got news for you. Yeah, somebody's got your number. You just aren't going to like their language. You can't speak it. And when you've got a population of warriors looking for brides because of their own policies, i.e. the Chinese and also the Russians, I'm telling you, the last thing you want to do is be a pacifist. And when I hear Christian pacifists, I want nothing to do with them. I'm being told that, it's wrong to defend your family. Well, I say to them, fine, you go and die, but pray that somebody with a spine and enough love for, when I'm talking about the right kind of love, for your wife and family is there to take them to a place of refuge. I have nothing to do with those kind of people. They make me vomit, and don't any of you dare send me that, what I would call that denial of the faith BS, Bravo Sierra. It is anti-biblical. Paul said any man that doesn't provide for his family is worse than an infidel. And Dave, the hardest thing I know is how to get people who absolutely see it all and listen to it all as if they're spectators, and to understand they're going to be thrust in as active participants.
Well, they are. But, Steve, how do we get people to... Well, let me ask you this. What options do you think people have in terms of defending ourselves against what's coming?
I think the first option is get right with Jesus.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe God said his sheep hear his voice. I don't believe there's one answer that fits everybody. I believe God is so amazingly powerful and wonderfully creative that he will tell people what to do.
And you're so right in what you're saying about the blue list, too. I've got contacts high up in the law enforcement in Colorado, where I'm from, people that I grew up with, Steve, and what they have told me that they've learned is that when they're told, hey, we want you to go out and do your job, and what they'll do is they'll say, we're going to protect your families and take them to a safe haven. No, the families become the hostage. And if these people don't carry out the heinous acts they're being ordered to do, they will kill their families.
Absolutely. And this is something else that most people don't understand. Well, the press is on to disarm America. And does it come as a surprise? Dave, let me ask you a question, okay? You're doing the interviewing. But didn't it make you want to vomit, and did not the fury rise when you saw targets of American children,
yes,
pregnant moms, and by the way, they were all white. And I only make that statement from this point. The racism that is being engendered and fostered is by the Illuminati, who basically want the blacks to kill the whites, the Chicanos or Latinos to kill the blacks. They want everybody at everybody's throat, fulfilling Albert Pike's World War III mandate, in the letters to Giuseppe Mazzini, or the vice versa.
Right.
Go Albert Pike, World War III, Google it. The point being is the gangs have been given heavy weapons. They put the gang members into the military to train them to how to use military weapons. And the gangs have a better grasp of what's going on than again, the meow men in the church. Meow men, or I'll use a more sanitary version, the wussies, okay, in the pulpit. the point is that these all are getting ready. Jesus said nation will rise against nation. That word literally means ethnos against ethnos. The word nation in Greek, that's ethnicity against ethnicity. Can you tell me a more racially divided nation than ours right now, any place in the world?
No, it's all divide and conquer. It's by design.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Steve, we have a group of listeners out of Mexico, American expatriates that listen, and Andy received some information that they all got knocked off the air.
Isn't it amazing? If everything I'm talking about is horse manure, somebody's doing a good job to make sure their horse manure doesn't go out. If I wasn't telling the truth, they wouldn't be interfering, okay? But the bottom line is, because I am, and we're talking, here's the deal. Someone said you never get so much flack unless you're over target, obviously referring to World War II bombing runs.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to share with people is, listen, the day comes when, Dave, your voice is no longer on the radio. This isn't a threat. It's just a statement of fact.